ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। नमः श्रीशङ्करानन्दगुरुपादाम्बुजन्मने सविलासमहामोहग्राहग्रासैककर्मणे। We are in the midst of the chapter 1, the first chapter, Tattva Vivekaha of Panchadashi, the Prakarana Grantha of 15 chapters, authored by the great scholar, Jnani, and administrator of the Vijayanagara Empire in the 14th century, the 12th Shankaracharya of Sringeri Mutt, Swami Vidyaranya Muni. And Acharya, in the beginning of the text, has already established the Sat Chit Ananda Swarupa Atma, applying which logic? Avasthatraya Sakshi logic. That Atma is Satyam, Atma is Jnana Swarupaha Chit, and Atma is Parama Prema Aspadam. It is Priyatamaha for all. It is the dearest for everybody. Then, if that is the case, why are we not aware of it? Why are we not living happily ever after and being able to own up this fact? Because there is a pratibandha. Pratibandha is some obstructing factor is there which is veiling this fact. The fact that I am Ananda Swarupa Atma. And so then the author entered into the discussion on Prakritihi or Maya, Shakti of Brahma. And how this Maya becomes samsara karanam, the cause of samsara. And then the author continued explaining that how there are the three roles or aspects of Maya. One is the pure Maya, Shuddha Sattva, Prakritihi, and then there is Malina Sattva, and then Tamah Pradhana Maya. So all the three play an important role. We saw how when Brahma, pure consciousness or Chaitanyam, shines through Shuddha Sattva, then that is Ishvaraha, Srishtikarta, the cosmic mind, and ready to manifest the Srishti. Then when the Brahma or pure consciousness, Chaitanyam, shines or activates the Malina Sattva, Malina Sattva is now all the three gunas will be present. Then that gives rise to us, the jivas. So that was called avidya. So now the jivas, what is the pratibandhanam for the jiva? Avidya or karana shariram. So avidya is the pratibandhanam that is obstructing the awareness of Atma like a veil. Then what is the third role of Maya? Tamah Pradhana Maya. So when Brahma shines through the Maya Shakti, which is predominantly tamasic, then we saw all the details, how the Panchatanmatras appear, they combine, they grossify, and that leads to the Sthula Jagat, the gross Jagat, which includes all the Sthula Sharirani, the gross bodies. All this is happening in the cosmic mind of Ishvara, Ishvara Agnyaya. So we see how Ishvara is the Jagat Karanam and is setting up the micro stage and the macro stage. What for? Karma Phala Bhogaya. For the exhaustion of the countless karma phalas, for standing in every jiva's account in all these lokas. Then what happens? Even as the jivas are exhausting the karma phala bhoga, because the jivas are under the grip of avidya, then one is caught in this avidya kama karma phalam janma cycle, samsara chakra. And so one performs karmas to enjoy and enjoys to perform karmas. This is the samsara chakra. And this continues janmanaha janma, birth after birth in every life until the purva janma sukritam punyam begins to manifest and one Karunanidhi Guruhu manifests in one's life. And then, like the Kitaha example we saw, the Kitas, the insects that were swept from one whirlpool to another, was lifted by a kind-hearted bystander and put in a safe, dry spot. Like that, the Guru gives the liberating Upadesha. And then slowing down the samsara chakra, and then finally it comes to a complete stop by the gain of self-knowledge. So in this prakarana, what is that knowledge or upadesha given? Here it was in the form of Panchakosha Vivekaha, the discriminative analysis of the 5 sheets or the 3 bodies. Then the author also explained each and every sheath, how the sheaths are composed, how the sthula shariram is put together, sukshma is put together intelligently, and so on. Then for that discriminative analysis, what was the logic used? Anvaya Vyatireka logic. Co-presence, co-absence, we can say. So Anvaya is that which is the invariable constant, which simply continues, was, is, and will be. So again, Vidyaranya Muni brings back the Avasthatraya situation and examines that what are the bodies which are intrinsic to Atma? Is it a part of Atma or is it incidental, subject to arrival and departure? So that was the analysis. Like in the waking state. Waking state, what are the bodies that we are aware of? Both Stula and Sukshma, they are fully available. And as Vishwaha, they are available for us to transact in this Jagat, Panchabhautikam Jagat. So the 5-fold, Pancha bodies are interacting with the 5-fold Jagat. This is called Vyavahara. But then what happens in the Swapna Avastha, dream state? The Sthula Shariram is negated, cancelled. It is not available because it belongs to the waker in the waking state. So now there is a new body, dream sense organs, dream transactions. So now the analysis begins. Atma, Bhati still, Atma shines, and in its borrowed light, the whole dream is projected in the mind. Everything is happening in the mind. But Sthula Shariram Vyatireka. So Atma is Anvayaha, continues, but Sthula Shariram has departed, is out of view, not available. So how can one be the Sthula Shariram? Because it got negated in the dream state. Then further, when the dream state also collapses into the Sushupti Avastha, deep sleep state, we know that even the Sukshma Shariram is withdrawn and becomes unmanifest and disappears into the Karana Shariram. But is one still there? Yes. Atma continues to Bhati. Atma shines and revealing the absence of bodies, absence of experience. But because I say I slept well, I was there. So we conclude that Atma was present, Anvayaha, was invariable. But the Sukshma Shariram departed temporarily. Yeah. So then, because of this, we can conclude that Sukshma Shariram is also not intrinsic to Atma. Atma Bhanam, but Sukshma Shariram Abhanam is switched off. Now, which body is left? Only one, Karana Shariram. Now, the causal body is not really a body. It is just avidya, self-ignorance. It is given the name causal body, Karana Shariram, because avidya is the cause for the janma. And in every janma, there has to be a Sthula Sukshma body combination to exhaust the karma phalam. So then how does the author negate even the Karana Shariram? By analyzing the state of Samadhi. Now, the word samadhi means samyak adhyate yasmin. When the mind or the buddhi is very well placed means there is jnana avastha. There is clarity on the vision of Vedanta. Brahma Satyam, Jagat Mithya. So when the jnani has gained self-knowledge, will the Karana Shariram continue? No. In the Gita, we have seen all the karmas are, dagdham, are burnt to ashes when one gains the self-knowledge. So even Karana Shariram is not intrinsic to Atma. So finally, what is the conclusion? Atma is Panchakosha Vilakshanaha, Panchakoshatitaha, Stula Sukshma Karana Sharirat Vyatiriktaha. Tattva both are definitions. That is, Atma independently and shines and is distinct, whereas all the bodies, the koshas, they are dependent on Atma, they arrive and they depart, they are incidental and not intrinsic to Atma. So this is where we stopped last time. How the author helps us to arrive at that Nitya Vastu Atma cognitively. Cognitively by understanding and discovering, applying the logic of Anvaya Vyatirekaha. And Satchit Ananda Atma is really my true nature and not the bodies which are an upadhi. Upadhi is that which is there, but it is not really there. And it appears to conceal the Atma. But really, the upadhi exists because of the Atma. How can it conceal the limitless Atma? So all this logic we have seen. And now we will move to the 43rd shloka, the next verse. Now the author is going to enter into the Mahavakya Vichara, the great Vedantic equation. Para paratmanorevam yuktya sambhavitaikata. Para paratmanorevam yuktya sambhavitaikata. Tatvamasyadivakyai sa bhagatyagena lakshite. Para paratmanorevam yuktya sambhavitaikata. Tatvamasyadivakyai sa bhagatyagena lakshate. Para apara atmanoho evam yuktya sambhavita ekata. Tat tvam asi adi vakyaihi sa bhagatyagena lakshate. Does anything here sound familiar to anyone? Bhagatyaga lakshana. Keta mari irukku illaya? Where have we heard this? Yes, Kalyani, I think, says Ramagita. Correct. Ramagita. We have only done it once, no? Remember the Lakshana Vakyas we did? Jahal Lakshana, Ajahal Lakshana, Jahajahal Lakshana, and Bhagatyaga Lakshana. It is not as difficult as it sounds, and we will see only the relevant portion. So here the author is saying, Para apara atmanoho evam. What is para? Para is Brahma and apara is the Jiva. So between the two, that is Paratma, that is Paramatma and Jivatma, para paratmanoho evam yuktya. So we are going to apply logic. Yukti means logic. Yuktya. What kind of logical analysis? Tattvam asi vakya vichara. How many times we have come across this Mahavakyam? Tattvam asi. But is it the only Mahavakyam? No, it is the most popular Mahavakyam, appearing in the Chandogya Upanishad and in the dialogue between Uddalaka, the father, who teaches his son Shvetaketu 9 times. Tattvamasi, Tattvamasi, Tattvamasi. But there are many other Mahavakyams like Aham Brahma Asmi, Prajnanam Brahma, Ayamatma Brahma, coming in the other Upanishads. And in the Bhagavad Gita also, wherever Krishna says, I, Ishvara, am present in all of you. Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarvakshetreshu bharata. Second verse of chapter 13 is a Mahavakyam. That is the presence of the limitless Tattvam in all the perishable finite bodies. Equating that is also a Mahavakyam. So wherever there is Jiva Ishvara Aikyam, wherever a text talks about the oneness between Atma and Brahma, that is a Mahavakyam. So, para apara atmanoho evam yuktya tattvam asi adi, like these Mahavakyas tattvam asi, what? Tattvam asi adi vakyehi, by these sentences, Vedantic equations, sa sambhavita. Sa is referring to the ekata. Sa ekata. Ekata means the oneness, the identity. The identity is arrived at, derived, sambhavita. And what is the special form of analysis we are going to see? Bhaga Tyaga Lakshana. Now here the word Lakshyate is given here. Lakshyate means a pointer. So Tattvamasi Vakyam, when it is analyzed by the Bhagatyaga Lakshana, which we will see now, then Lakshyate, the Lakshya is revealed. Now remember, we have seen 2 words, important words, Vachyartha and Lakshyartha. Vachyartha means what? The direct meaning. Yeah, the direct, immediate meaning. I go to school. Very unambiguous. So we will take the direct meaning. Yeah. But if somebody says, oh, you hit the nail on the head, will we take the direct meaning? Definitely not. So you hit the nail on the head, we will take an implied meaning that, yes, you were absolutely spot on, correct. That is the implied meaning, or called Lakshyartha. So like that in the language, our sentences, sometimes will have an immediate direct meaning. Sometimes our own buddhis will filter and take the derived meaning. Like supposing I say, I am fat. Yeah. Then, do I mean all the Panchakoshas, the 3 bodies are fat? No. Only Sthula Shariram, Annamaya Kosha. Then if I say you are intelligent, yeah, then it's not referring to Sthula Shariram. It's referring to Vijnanamaya Kosha, the Buddhi. Now your Buddhi is well informed, intelligence is there. Like that, there are many examples. When I say I ate a mango, but did I eat the full mango? No, we discarded the seed, but ate the pulp. Or I ate a banana. We discard the skin and eat the pulp. Many examples are there. The classically Shastra says, supposing there's a sentence, Shonaha Dhavati. Red runs. What does that mean? Red runs. It has no meaning. So we have to see the situation where it is said. So we have to imagine it was a race course and people are betting upon the horses. So the red horse is likely to win. Shonaha Ashvaha Dhavati. Like that, sometimes in our own mind, we will add a word or we will subtract a word. Another classic example is Gangayam Ghoshaha Asti. Gangayam means on the Ganga, there is a Ghoshaha, village. Is it possible? So, we are not going to literally believe that there's a village in the Ganga, inside the Ganga, it's not possible. So we add what? Ganga tire ghoshaha asti. On the bank of the Ganga, there is a ghoshaha, a village. Yeah. So now coming back to Tattvam Asi. Can we take the literal meaning, the Vachyartha? First of all, what is the Mahavakya saying? When the Guru says Tattvam Asi, the Guru is saying, you are that. You are that Jagat Karanam Param Brahma. So, at the face value, who can accept this statement? I'm just a simple, humble bhakta. I say Tvameva Mata, Chapita Tvameva, Tvameva Bandhu, Chasakha Tvameva. How can one equate Ishvara, that Parabrahma, with me, the Jiva? Parabrahma is Sarvatnyaha, Sarvashaktiman, whereas I am Alpajnaha, Alpashaktiman. How can the two be equated? But that is exactly what the Upanishads do. Tat Tvam Asi. I am Atma Brahma. Aham Brahma Asmi. Prajnanam Brahma. All these Mahavakyas are doing exactly that. So obviously, at face value, we cannot accept it. It's unacceptable. So there is a necessity for vichara. And that vichara is done by Bhagatyaga Lakshana. So what does this Bhagatyaga mean? It means that one bhaga will be discarded, tyaga, and one bhaga will be retained. So we should know what to retain. Like in the banana example, discarding the skin or the mango seed and then retaining or enjoying the pulp. That is the bhaga retention and one bhaga tyaga. So bhaga tyaga lakshanena is we can arrive at the Atma equal to Brahma by retaining something and by rejecting something else. And in the Rama Gita, if you remember, we came across the example of Soyam Devadattaha. Classic example. Saha Ayam Devadattaha. Now, many of you would have met some friend of yours or a relative of yours. After 20 years, you're meeting the person. Yeah. So the Shastra gives the example of how one person meets his childhood friend called Devadattaha after 20 years. Then how is he able to recognize his friend? The friend of 20 years ago was in school, was short, was fat, was in 6th grade. But now that friend is tall, is thin, has gray hair, is a doctor, is married. No, but how did we establish the identity? Recognize. Bhagatyaga lakshanena. No, because tat deshe kale devadattaha is etat deshe kale devadattaha. That is, there we recognize the invariable factor. There is a easiness. There is a factual presence. That is Atma. Yeah. But what did we discard in the mind? We removed all the temporary attributes. The black hair of the school child, the white hair of the present adult, yeah, and the school child, and now who's a business person or a doctor, yeah. So all these attributes and qualifications are put aside and one grasped the essence. That is called retaining the bhaga and doing tyaga of other bhagas. What is temporary, incidental, which is arriving and departing. So this is all we have to do even in Tat Tvam Asi Mahavakya. Retain the essence, discard what is temporary, is the Bhagatyaga method. So, that is why in this Mahavakya Vichara, author has already revealed our nature as Satchitananda Atma. But how can this Atma be equal to Brahma? Do I have to join Brahma? Do I have to merge with Brahma? Do I have to become Brahma? No, none of them. I only have to what? Own up Brahma. Discover Brahma. And that is the purpose of all these vicharas. Now coming back to Tattvamasi, what is Tat? The next shloka is going to describe it, but for now, let us understand that Tat is Brahma, the supreme reality. And Tvam is us, the Jivas. And Asi is the equal sign, equal to sign. So Tat Tvam Asi is the Guru Upadesha who says, you are that. Now again, all the Jivatvam, the Upadhi of the Jiva, the Sthula, Sukshma, Karana is going to be, Tyaga is going to be done. We put it aside. And the Upadhi of Tat, that is Maya Upadhi. Maya Upadhi will also be put aside. The entire universe, the Maya Shakti of Brahma is put aside. What are we left with? Pure consciousness, Chaitanyam. And that is how one arrives at the Mahavakya Vichara. It's like saying 5 plus 4 is 9. And 11 minus 2 is 9. So 5 plus 4 equal to 11 minus 2 will be very puzzling for a kindergarten student. Yeah, they will not be able to figure it out. So like that, we are also puzzled by how can the Jiva be equal to Brahma? So when we do the logical analysis, we are able to cognitively discriminate and negate the upadhis on both sides and retain the essence. The essence being Chaitanyam. That is the meaning here. Para, apara, atmanoho evam yuktya sambhavita ekata. So the ekata is arrived at by yukti. What yukti? Tat tvam asi adi vakyehi bhagatyagena. By applying the bhagatyaga lakshana vritti to the mahavakya tat tvam asi, this ekata is sambhavita, is arrived at, derived, and then lakshyate, it is pointed out. So basically, it is to understand what is satyam and what is mithya. All the upadhis are mithya, incidental, and what is satyam? Brahma. So retaining the core essence is Atma Brahma, and whatever else, the endowments, the extensions, the anatma extensions are all mithya. Now discarding does not mean I dislike them or I ignore them. No. So they are very valuable and I have an objective approach towards them. But the mission is to arrive at Atma Brahma Satyam. Yeah. That is this shloka. We will chant it again. Number 43. Para paratmanorevam yuktya sambhavitaikata tattvamasyadi vakyai sa bhagatyagena lakshyate. Now the author is going to devote one shloka each to Tat and then Tvam also. So you see, when we hear Tat, Tat Shabda. So Tat is something very remote. Jagat Karanam, Tat, supreme reality. What is my connection with that supreme reality? So now the next shloka is going to explain what exactly is Tat. So, which we will see now. Shloka number 44. Jagato yadupadanam mayamādāya tāmasīm. Jagato yadupadanam mayām ādāya tāmasīm nimittam shuddha sattvam tam uchyate brahma tadgira. Nimittam shuddha sattvam tam uchyate brahma tadgira. Jagato yadupadanam mayamādāya tāmasīm nimittam shuddha sattvam tam uchyate brahma tadgira. Jagataha yat upadanam mayam ādāya tāmasīm nimittam shuddha sattvam tam uchyate brahma tadgira. Now, author is explaining to us what do we mean by Tat. So we would have also heard of Tat Jagat Karanam Brahma Aham Asmi. Tat is referring to Jagat Karanam. Now, Karanam means the cause. So, you take anything in the world. Let's take a pot, or I will show you another beautiful thing. There is this crystal, square, a block, and inside that there is a appearance of Puja Swamiji. So there is some kind of reflection inside this glass container. It's like a weight, paperweight. So you see this. What is the material of this? Some kind of stone, crystal stone. But that is the Upadana Karanam, material cause. But who has crafted this? A very skilled person must have crafted it to make a paperweight with this idea. Let's put Puja Swamiji's image inside it. Are the two same? No, the material is different. Upadana Karanam is different. And the Nimitta Karanam, intelligent maker, is different. So maker, material are distinct when you see the world. A table, a shirt, a pot, anything you take, you will find that there is a difference. Now, what about the Jagat? Can you all still hear me? Now, what about the Jagat? Jagat is also a Karyam, is put together. Now, what is the Upadanam Karanam for the Jagat? And who is the intelligent cause of the Jagat? The shloka says, both are one and the same Brahma. Look at the shloka again. Jagataha yat upadanam mayam adaya tamasim nimittam shuddha sattvam tam uchyate brahma tat gira. So, here now is going to be explained how Brahma is the abhinna nimitta upadana karanam for the Jagat. Abhinna nimitta upadana karanam means non-separate. Brahma is both the intelligent cause for the Jagat and the material cause of the Jagat. Now, what is the material cause of the Jagat? We saw just recently how when Brahma shines through the tamah pradhana prakriti, then the 5 elements manifest, Akasha, Vayu, Agni, and so on. And then after grossification, they form the gross Jagat and the gross bodies. So what is the Upadanam Karanam here? Brahma endowed with the Tamasim Maya. That is what the verse says here. Jagataha yat Upadanam Mayam Adaya. Adaya means receiving or shining. So when the Brahma activates, or shines through the Tamasika Mayam, then we have the Pancha Mahabhutas, the Tanmatras, the Panchikaranam, and the Jagat. That forms the Jagat. So is not Brahma endowed with Maya the Upadanam Karanam for the Jagat? Yes, that's the first line. Tamasi Mayam Adaya, Brahma is yat Upadanam for the Jagat. And the second line in the shloka talks about Nimitta Karanam. Nimitta Karanam is the intelligent cause. Now, how does Brahma become the intelligent cause? And what is the intelligence talked about here? Look at the universe. Any person with some viveka will see how much intelligence is there in the universe. Yeah, the laws of karma, laws of gravity, electromagnetic radiation, which planet is to revolve with which orbital velocity around which sun, the galaxies, and the whole Srishti is packed with intelligence. The jivas, exhausting karmas, and in which loka, in which yuga. So who is the intelligent cause for all this? Same Brahma. But now it is shining through which Maya? Shuddha Sattvika Maya. So when the Brahma is endowed with Adaya, receiving the Shuddha Sattvika Maya, then that is called Ishvara. And Ishvara is Jagat Karanam, or we can say the Brahmadev, and ready to manifest the Srishti. So that is the Nimitta Karanam. Is it clear? This shloka is talking about the twofold Karana. Okay, so Brahma endowed with Maya becomes the twofold cause for the entire Jagat. The material cause of the Jagat and the intelligent cause. Which jivas are going to exhaust which set of karmas in which janma, in which loka, in which yuga. It presupposes a lot of intelligence. So unlike worldly objects like the pot and the flower and the flower vase or a cloth, there are no two causes, but one and the same. And that is why abhinna nitta upadana karanam iti Brahma. Okay, so let us chant it again. Jagato yadupadanam mayam adaya tamasīm nimittam shuddha sattvam tam uchyate brahma tadgira. Now, gira, the word gira, gira means words. So, by the word Brahma, Brahma tad gira. So, we have to rearrange the words. Yat Brahma tamasim mayam adaya. That Brahma which receives the tamasim maya is jagataha upadanam, material cause of the jagat. The same logic in the second line. And that Brahma, it is said, receiving the Shuddha Sattvam Mayam is Jagataha Nimittam. No? So rearranging the words, we get the two sentences about Brahma. So this shloka number 44 is just explaining what exactly is Tat. And now we are clear that Tat is Jagat Karanam. What kind of Karanam? Both. Nimittam and Upadana Karanam is that one Brahma. And so we can, sometimes we say Ishvara. So Ishvara is Jagat Karana. Yeah, but we should also not forget the grossness of the universe. So both kinds of Maya, when Brahma is endowed with both the Prakritis, Tamah Pradhana Prakriti and Shuddha Sattva Prakriti, when it is, when Brahma shines through them, becomes, Upadanam and Nimitta Karanam for the Jagat. Okay. 45. Let's go to 45. यदा मलिनसत्त्वां तां कामकर्मादिदूषितां यदा मलिनसत्त्वां तां कामकर्मादिदूषिताम् आदत्ते तत्परं ब्रह्म त्वं पदेन तदोच्यते यदा मलिनसत्त्वां तां कामकर्मादिदूषिताम् आदत्ते तत्परं ब्रह्म Tvampadeena tadochyate. And now we have what? Tvampad. Yada malina sattvam tam kama karmadi dushitam adatte tat param brahma tvampadeena tada uchyate. Now the word adatte means to receive. So this shloka number 45 is talking about us, the jiva, Tvam So how did the Tvam come about? Who created the Tvam Same Brahma. But now the Brahma that is endowed with Malina Sattvam. Malina Sattvam Tam. And what do we mean by Malina Sattvam? Contaminated Prakriti. Contaminated in the sense that now it is not pure sattva. There is all the three gunas. There's more rajas and there's tamas also. When there is such a avastha, guna avastha, that is not predominantly sattva, there is the jiva. Because now the jiva, in the mind of the jiva, there will be all the three gunas. And because of that, What else does the author says? Kama karmadi dushitam. There will be the malam. There will be the restlessness, the activity centered on the three gunas. So now, because of the malina sattva guna, or in other words, avidya, what will the jiva do? The jiva will have kamas, desires, then kama, karma phalam, janma cycle has begun. So that is why here the shloka says that when the Brahma is pure Chaitanyam, consciousness, but when it is shining through Malina Sattva, which leads to karma phalam, janma cycle, is Dushitam, is not that pure Shuddha Sattva, then that is called Tvam Padam. Tada Tvam Padena Uchyate. So Tvam Pada is explained in this way. In other words, what? Now we all have this avidya upadhi. Avidya upadhi is the karana shariram, self-ignorance. And self-ignorance is there. And that leads to the cycle. So, you see, there is only one Brahma. But when that Brahma has the avidya upadhi is a jiva. So the jiva is really essentially Brahma, but does not know it because of the avidya upadhi. And when the Brahma is shining through Shuddha, pure Sattva Maya, that is Ishvara. And so Ishvara or Brahmadev, you can say, is fully aware. There is no ignorance there and becomes Srishti Karta. So it is all about the mind. Really, the mind is Maya. And is the mind pure? No. It is Kama Karmadi Dushitam. Kama Karmadi Dushitam. So when the mind is caught up in the gunas, then there is the avidya. That is the state of the jiva. Let's chant it again. Yada malina sattvam tam kama karmadi dushitam adatte tat param brahma tvam padena tada tadochyate. Tat param brahma adatte. That is param brahma receives. Receives what? Malina sattvam tam kama karmadi dushitam mayam. Receives this maya or shines through this maya. And that tvam padena tada uchyate. Then that is called tvam pada. So tvam pada is this vyashti jivaha. That's all. Now in the next shloka, the author rapidly comes to the aikyam. Atma Brahma aikyam. Tritayim muktva Paraspara virodhinim akhandam satchidanandam mahavakyena lakshyate. Akhandam satchidanandam mahavakyena lakshyate. Tritayim api tam muktva paraspara virodhinim akhandam satchidanandam mahavakyena lakshyate. Now the oneness is described here. Again, by which method? Lakshana, no? Lakshyartha. Now Tritayim. Tritayim is referring to the group of three. So what is a group of three? It is not the three bodies. It is the three forms of Prakriti Maya. So this text has described it a few times. There is Shuddha Sattva, Malina Sattva, Tamah Pradhana Prakriti. Three states of Maya. That is the meaning we will take for Tritayim. Tritayim means the group of three. So Tritayim tam muktva. So this Tritayim, the three types of Prakriti is what? Paraspara virodhinim. They are different from each other. Shuddha Sattva is pure Sattva. And that's who Ishvara is. Kalyana Guna Sampanna Ishvara, Sarvatnyaha. Whereas the Jiva is Malina Sattva. that the jiva is caught in this karma cycle because of contaminated maya. And then the gross, the tamasic predominant maya it becomes a cause for the jagat, gross jagat. So they're all paraspara virodhini, three aspects of maya. But when through vichara, through lakshana vakya, lakshyartha, we discard muktva, we negate the maya cognitively, of course, then what happens? Akhandam Satchidanandam Mahavakyena Lakshyate. Then by only negating the maya on both sides of the Mahavakyam, we will arrive at the indivisible Akhandam Satchidananda Swarupa Atma Brahma. Okay, so what are we negating really? Let's come back to the Mahavakyam, Tat Tvam Asi. On the side of Tat, Tat is Param Brahma. Now, what is the Upadhi for Param Brahma? Shuddha Sattva and Tamah Pradhana Prakriti. Right? Through Shuddha Sattva, Brahma becomes Ishvara. And through Tamah Pradhana Prakriti, Brahma generates the Jagat. Whereas on the side of Tvam, we have the Malina Sattva Prakriti. Okay, so now the author is saying that Kritayim Tam Muktva. We let us negate the two Prakritis on the side of Brahma and the one, our Prakriti, Malina Sattva Prakriti, on the side of the Jiva, Tvam. So what are we left with? Shuddha Chaitanyam. You know, an easy example is the wave and ocean. The wave stands for Jiva and the ocean stands for Ishvara. So Ishvara has which Upadhi? Shuddha Sattva Upadhi. And the Jiva has Malina Sattva Upadhi, Avidya. So when we negate that by knowledge, negating is understanding that the Mithyatvam, that is the bodies are incidental, the bodies are dependent, the bodies are Mithya, the bodies are subject to arrival and departure. Cognitively, I negate them. And the same I do at the Samashti level. The whole Jagat also goes through cycles. Even the Jagat is not independently existing. It is dependent on Brahma. So let us negate it cognitively. So what is left on both sides? Pure Chaitanyam. That is what the shloka says. Akhandam Satchidanandam Mahavakyena Lakshyate. So by this Lakshana Vritti is implied meaning. Implied meaning is by negating the superficial, temporary upadhis and attributes and arriving at the core equality, core essence. Now in this example, when we negate it, you know, what is the wave's upadhi? The wave's upadhi is its size, the dimension, the intensity, the duration. And what is the upadhi for ocean? The huge limitlessness of the ocean, that also we negate. So what are we left with? Both are equal because essence of the wave is water, essence of ocean is water. And water in this example stands for Shuddha Chaitanyam. Wave is a Jiva, ocean is Ishvara. So, we have seen all these examples before, so it should not be difficult. So the author is trying to arrive at the screen-like consciousness. So take the modern example of a movie screen. On the movie screen, there is a movie happening. Now, is the screen and movie separate? No, they are kind of clubbed together, right? Because the movie is playing on the screen. But is the screen affected by the movie? No. If there are floods or there are wars or there are fires in the movie, then the screen is not burnt or wet or scratched even. Yeah. So there is no real sambandha. It is all about satyam and mithya. So the same logic we have to understand that the bodies are belonging to a different order of reality. Vyavaharika, mithya reality. Whereas Atma belongs to satyam. Satyam, Paramarthika, Satyam, reality. And there is no real connection between the two other than the Vyavaharika depends on Paramarthika. But Paramarthika is independently existing. Anvayaha, it is ever bhati. So Paramarthika Satyam Brahma bhati and everything else, Jagat, body is anubhati, shines in the borrowed light of Atma. So like the actor, the jivas, suppose you take the actor Jiva. So the actor will be offered a role of a beggar in one script, and then he may be a king in another script. But in the green room, he is the same person. Yeah, he has only put on different costumes. So the jiva is essentially Brahma, and all the jivatvam, the bodies are like vesha, like costumes. This example we have seen in the Gita also. And another story which highlights this ekata, how to arrive cognitively by vichara at the essential oneness of the jiva is shown in the Mahabharata. We all know the character Karna. Karna is the son of the charioteer, or he thinks he is. He's on the side of the Kauravas. But one day Kunti calls him and she reveals the fact that he is also a Kunti Putra. So long, Karna thought he is Radheya. He is the son of a charioteer, Sutaputra. But now his mother, Kunti, has revealed that he is really not Radheya, but Kaunteya. He is also her son. Now, what did Karna have to do to become a Kaunteya? He didn't go anywhere. He just heard the words and he discovered. He discovered and he understood. So that is how the Mahavakya is to be also analyzed. Guru Mukhat, the Guru says Tattvamasi. Then what should I say? Aham Brahma Asmi. So through Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasnam, all this Viveka Vichara happens, and to understand or discover the fact of the Atma Brahma. Okay. Let us chant it one more time and then close. त्रितयीमपि तां मुक्त्वा परस्परविरोधिनीम् अखण्डं सच्चिदानन्दं महावाक्येन लक्ष्यते ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ